Hi, Lipika, ma'am.
Hello.
Is that my voice is audible, ma'am?
Yes, it is audible.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the session 7 for the value creation. Today we have with us Dr. Lipika Sahoo, founder and CEO of Intellect Consultancy Private Limited. Well, I welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am, is my
Thank
voice
you.
audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Dr. Lipika Sahoo, ma'am, is the founder and CEO of Lifeintelect Consultancy Private Limited, having 20 years of experience in academia and industry in the areas of technology, innovation, and intellectual property. She holds a PhD from Indian Institute of Science. She holds a triple masters MSc from Sambalpur University, Odisha, PGDIPR from National Law School of India University, Bangalore, PGCBM from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, and advanced certification from World Intellectual Property Organization. She is also an alumni of IIM Bangalore and registered Indian Patent and Trademark Agent. Dr. Lipika is passionate about technology and innovation, helping scientists, innovators, government organizations, and business owners protect their ideas by enabling generation of valuable intellectual property, be it an invention, a design, a product, an idea, or business process. Her specialists include research, technology development, intellectual property rights, product development, strategic management, system efficiency, mentoring, and consultancy, entrepreneurship, and technology consulting. And she has been associated with many startup ecosystem, prime startup inventors at CCAMP, IMB, IIC, KIT, Startup Square Bangalore, Vellore Institute of Technology, Bio Innovation Center Bangalore, Ph.D. Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mentored Indian Innovation Challenge Teams, a program being organized by Texas Instruments, Department of Science and Technology, and IIM Bangalore. And she is an invited speaker for the many conferences and webinars and workshops. And I welcome you, ma'am, for the session. And I welcomed all our students for the session of 7. Again, students, if you have any questions and any doubts, please raise the hand and we will discuss. And this is the interactive session. And please, again, I will request everyone to turn on your camera. Again, we can visible and we can proceed further. And this is the interactive session. We have to discuss and we have to proceed further. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I am handing over the session to you. And
Yeah.
I hope that screen is visible. Share screen is option is visible to you, ma'am. Please look into it and please share the screen.
I have already shared my screen. It is my screen. Is it visible to all?
Video is visible, ma'am, but share screen is not.
Okay, one second. One second. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Aditya, and thanks to Dr. Srinath and REVA University for inviting me to interact with all of you. So we are going to have 1 hour session. Today, I'll be talking about value creation. As I understand, all of you are budding entrepreneur, right? And if you have any question during my presentation, you can definitely raise your hand and ask. And I hope Mr. Aditya would help me out because I cannot see the question. So we will take few questions during our presentation. Otherwise, towards the end, and 10 to 15 minutes, we'll keep the time for the final question answer session. Okay. Okay. So we'll be talking about as the course curriculum has been instructed. We'll talk about little bit about copyright, then trade secrets, and then patents. Okay, how do you create value, and how does these IPs are important for a student, a researcher, or entrepreneur? Okay, so if we just talk about intellectual property, I might ask question. Kindly unmute yourself, and maybe you can answer your question. So, intellectual property. What do you understand by intellectual property? This basically a creation of mind. It could be an invention, literary work. It could be names, symbols, some books, uh, artistic work, or design, some kind of product, some kind of processes. So these are all different kinds of intellectual property that we create. And what are the mechanisms to have these rights, IP rights? Is it something like it's your you right to education automatic, or you have to apply right and then there is some way to get this right? So typically these are not like fundamental right or natural rights. It is something like you have to draft, apply to a government office, and they will examine the IP that you are applying, and if it is through the examination process, you get the IP right, right? And you get the IP right. You don't. It is not necessarily that if you have 10 patents or 10 copyrights, you automatically get money out of it. But you have to take interest to take this idea forward to market, so that you can get a supra marginal economic returns from your idea. So it is up to the applicant, up to the inventor to take the idea forward to the market. It is not important that how many patents you have, but how you can monetize those ideas, that is also important. And a consequence of IP rights is you get a better economic rewards for your product or your process. Now, if you see the number of patents filed across different patent offices in the world, it is around 3.3 million, which is increasing from continuously every year up to 2004 to 2018. This graph shows, and so when we talk about value creation uh, by the entrepreneur, by the inventor, so we talk about two things. One is innovation, other one is invention. So what is the difference between invention and innovation? So to understand that, so invention is like you have an idea for a new product or new process for the first time. So that is a new invention. You file for a patent to get a protection for that idea of about a product or process. Whereas when we talk about innovation, innovation is like making changes to existing product or processes for practical implementation. It could be one idea, it could be multiple idea put together. That can be innovation. And for invention, it is basically a research, a scientific method where you show some technological advancement over the existing product and processes. And it should not be obvious. It should not be obvious to another person in your same technology working, and he should also not get this idea so easily. That should be some amount of inventorship should be there in that idea. And then you can apply for a patent, create some IP rights, and you require some sort of scientific skills uh, to to create a new product or new process. Okay, so whereas invention is taking your idea into the market, into reality. You might have 10 patents, but it need not be possible that there might be some way that you cannot make it a product, marketable product. But whereas in the process of innovation, you think through different way of practical implementation of that idea. You create valuable product and processes for your customer. You can combine multiple patents, and it requires not only the scientific or technological aptitude, but also marketing skills, strategic skills to take a product and do some innovation. So for example, like uh, wheel is a kind of invention. First time when somebody came up with this wheel idea, it can be patented. It's a new idea. But when we talk about motor vehicle, it has so many ideas put together. It has a motor, it has a combustion fuel meter, and then it has a wheel. It has a different kind of parts put together that you get a wheel. So this is the innovation in your transport system. Whereas the invention is like inventing first time a wheel, and innovation has put together many ideas to bring about this transformation. Now, when we talk about IP and innovation, and when we create a value for our customer, uh, we usually think patent and innovation means it has to be really complex. It has to be you come up with a lot of research, then you come up with some idea which is patentable. So we will see few examples of some ideas and how they are popular and how useful, how they can create value. So this one is a hypodermic bunny. It was patented in 1967, and it is basically a syringe to immunize small children. And this was this was big hit among pediatricians because children were scared of injections. So this is a simple design to the injection and which helped the doctors to immunize children. Crayon holder, this is another innovation. This is a small kid of 10-year-old. In 2002, he came up with this idea. When we have smaller crayon, we usually throw it up. This child came up with the idea as of crayon holder, where you can use the crayon to the last. And this idea was bought by a company, and the family is equally compensated. So it need not necessarily that you have to have a complex idea to create a value for your customer. It could be a simple idea and you can create a lot of value for your customer. Now apparatus for facilitating walking, it was patented in 1890, It was one of its kind early uh, invention to help people to work, disabled people to work. So these are the early inventions that can be simple, that can be complex, but how useful your idea, how valuable your idea to your customer is what matters. This is banana suitcase. When you export banana to one country to a long distance, that lot of damages happen. So this inventor came up with the idea of banana suitcase, where you package the banana into the suitcase and it you save lot of it during the export, that less of damage. So these are very different kind of ideas, useful ideas and valuable ideas. So this is a paperclip. It was invented in 1909. It's a simple wire folded, which we use till now. Uh, it is how important and simple idea, but how useful. IBM's comfort wear. IBM patented in 2017. This comfort wear changes the weather conditions inside the this comfort wear. Depending on the weather, the temperature changes. So this is the innovative product by IBM. Then Walmart's robotic bees, 2018. Walmart came up with this robotic bee because the bees populations are declined, and we know how important bees are for our food production, our agriculture. So Walmart came up with this robotic bees. So you see, these are all different variety of ideas, different variety of product, and they are useful. And these companies have patented this product, this idea. So there is some process innovation. These are a few more product you can see. Garlic talks. Many of us like garlic, but they don't like the smell of garlic. So this company came up with a garlic paste, but there is no flavor of garlic. Then Stirfix. So this is sticker. When you stick it on your food, it keeps your food 50% longer fresh. So it uses beeswax coating, and it uses special ingredient that feature as generally safe. So these are all different kind of product innovation. Then some process innovation like Father's Farm. It was a farm in New York which they came up with the pasteurizing the food by bringing the supercritical carbon dioxide naturally pasteurizing, eliminating the need for freezing, need for artificial preservative, and it has a long shelf life of the food. So it is something they came up with this kind of process innovation to keep the food fresh. Then Akim, it is a pizza kiosk. Here you order a pizza in a kiosk. Within 30 seconds, it will assort whatever pizza that you require. It's a French startup company, which is a well-known company, and he came up with this process innovation, making pizza on the go. Okay, so now you saw these are all different kinds of IPs, different kind of product people have created, and these are all different useful product for their client. Now, when we talk about intellectual property, now to come up with some sort of product like this, there are different arms of intellectual property. Like that can be patents, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, industrial design, geographical indication, plant varieties, traditional knowledge, integrated circuits, biodiversity. These are all different kinds of IP that we have, and depending on your idea, we use different arms of IP, intellectual property, to protect your idea. Some can be protected through patents, some can be protected through copyright, trade secret, and so on. So today we basically talk about three things. One is copyrights, trade secrets, and patents. Okay, so copyright means like uh, if you think that what do you mean by copyright? If I ask some of you, maybe you can unmute and answer. What do you mean by copyright? Yeah, it doesn't matter if it is right or wrong. It can be interactive session. uh, I'm sure you would have heard different kinds of copyright, cases of copyright. What do you understand? What exactly you mean by
taking
copyright?
others' idea and portraying like it is ours. Like so, then we'll have a copyright.
Okay, any other answer?
Usually protecting
the original idea.
protecting your software or any form of text.
Okay, so copyright means right to copy, means you have the right to copy. If it is your idea, if it is your copyright, you have the right to copy. And if you are taking others' idea and modifying it, if it is still the other person can identify it is the similar way, then it is infringement of copyright. Okay, so that's the difference. If you have created something, it is your copyright. And but then sometimes you see on the web there are so many articles, so many literatures, and there is nothing written as copyrighted. uh, so can you copy it? If it is, if you have a picture in a web page, and you want to copy it because there is no copyright notices there.
Ma'am, we can copy it and we can cite their like source we can give there and we can do like that.
Okay, that's one way of doing it, but not necessarily it's true for all the time. So if copyright notice is there, they would clearly mention what is how you can use the copyright. Can you use it? Yes or no? Or if you are using it, what sort of attribution you should give, what way you should acknowledge them, that also it would have given. Sometimes they say it is not used for any commercial purpose. Suppose you want to take that picture and put it in your company website, which you are making some sort of profit out of it, which is legally not correct. Okay, so then you have to be very careful if you take up any picture from the internet and start using in a commercial purpose. That is one. Now, when was the digital like Polaroid camera was invented? Any idea? Around 1890s or so. So now when you take a picture, and the copyright on the picture lasts life of the creator and plus 60 years. Means usually people who would have taken picture around 1990s, and if they die, and then the copyright still exists for 60 years after their death also. So typically now we are 2022. Typically most of the picture that you see on internet, it is copyrighted by somebody or the other. Even if you don't see any notice, still you have to be careful copying anything and using it for commercial purpose. But we have something called in India as a uh, imparting instruction to students or non-commercial use or fair use. In that case, maybe you can use, but you still have to be careful about understanding the copyright instruction or notice on the product. Now, what is a copyright? It is the exclusive right given by the law to the author or composer to sell, print, or reproduce his original work to some years. Now that years, what I mentioned is life plus 60 years. So this is the exclusive right given by the law to the author. Now, there are two things in copyright. One is you don't have to apply for a copyright to get a copyright. The moment you create a copyright, or you finish writing a book, or you finish doing a painting, or you finish writing a blog, it is your copyright. You don't have to apply to a government office to get a copyright. So this is very important for all of you. Now then you would ask, then how do we get our right if we don't apply? Correct? So if you create some piece of work, if you put your name, like say C circle and Adithya, then it is understood that it is Aditya's copyright. But if you don't use that C circle and name, means it is not, it is, you have disclaimed this right. So this is very important whether you apply for a right to patent to copyright office or not. But the moment you write C circle and your name, means it is your copyright. You are telling others that it is copyrighted by somebody and they should not copy it, or they'll infringe your idea or copyright. Now next question is, suppose like you say you have an idea to write a story, and you tell that story to your friend, and before you write that book, write that novel, your friend went ahead and wrote that book. So whose copyright would it be? Would it be yours or your friend's? Yeah, simple question. If it is your idea and you share that idea with your friend, and friend went ahead and wrote the book before you write, whose idea, whose copyright it is? Yeah, you can answer. I think it's simple. Two options are there, or three options. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess the rights belongs to the friend, unless the original idea creator has some proof of it.
Okay. Any other answer? Okay. So, what's your name? I'm not able to see properly.
Naresh, ma'am.
Naresh. Okay. So Naresh says it is the right belongs to friend. Anybody else who defer this, or anybody else? Everybody agrees with Naresh. So at least you can say yes or no, right? So everybody agrees with
Yes,
Naresh?
ma'am, I agree.
Okay. Okay, good, good,
Yes, ma'am.
good. Okay, so what he says is partly correct. Whoever expressed the idea, the right belongs to him. So whether a friend proof that whether he told the story to if you can prove that you told this originally, you told the story to friend, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you told, anybody told. The way somebody express is what matters. Now tomorrow, suppose you write the story, the same story, and you write in different in your language. Definitely, you would not be similar, typically similar, unless you take and copy from your friend, right? The idea, the way you express is what matters. That's called idea and expression dichotomy. In copyright, the way the idea is fixed in some form, that right belongs to the creator. Now we have Taj Mahal. You take the picture of Taj Mahal. So many people are taking. So whoever takes the picture, it belongs to the right belongs to them. The right doesn't belongs to Taj Mahal, right? So this is very important for you to understand, and it has to be expressed in some tangible form. Suppose you say that is a sand art, and you cannot fix it. If you cannot fix it, it doesn't have any copyright. It has to be some fixable form.
Ma'am, I have
And
a small
yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
You give the example of Taj Mahal, but in the case of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, especially at night, I think the law is different for.
Yeah, there is some way laws are different, but people who takes the picture, paint it belongs to their copyright. You want to clarify anything? You want to ask any other question in that?
I don't know. I read somewhere that taking photos of the Eiffel Tower at night, the right belongs to the government of Paris or something like that.
So that is the government has decided.
Okay.
If the government has decided that okay, you cannot take picture of say presidential palace, that belongs to, that's a different, that's one of the case. But typically, whoever takes picture, yes. Another important question. Now suppose you say if your friend takes your picture, right? Who like right belongs to your friend? Not necessarily, because he's taking your picture means he should have your authority to take the picture. Then only you can say the right belongs to your friend. Otherwise the right belongs to you because it is your picture. If it is, if the monument or anything is displayed in public, then anybody can claim the copyright after taking a picture. But if it is a private property, if it is an individual, then the right belongs to the person. Without the permission, you cannot take a picture, distribute, or do anything, right?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
yeah. So it can be, so copyright can be on literary, dramatic, artistic, musical, all these kind of work. And we say it's a narrow protection. Why narrow protection? Because you cannot protect that idea stays. Because if your friend expressed the book in different way, he gets the right. But in case of patents, you stop others at the idea stage itself. If somebody else does the same product, processes or produce something same as your idea, then you can have the right to stop the person. So that is why we say patent is one of the strongest forms of protection. Compared to patent, copyright is weaker protection that we say. The term we discussed, and you can enforce, uh, you can have all these right, distribution, reproduction, adaptation, derivative, public performance, these are all rights. Okay, so it is, you have to fix. Okay, so that is an important case law about happy birthday to you. Um, Anybody knows about this important case laws of copyright?
Yes, ma'am. That song is owned by some company, and even if you sing it in a public place, it's illegal, I guess.
No, it was there. So what happens is the story goes like it is around 1980s. There was two sisters, Madrid Hill and Patty Hill. They were kindergarten teacher. So they wrote like rhyme for small children. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, but it rhymes like what we sing as happy birthday to you. And then the script was changed to happy birthday to you. Then around 1910, there's a company called Sammy and Company. They bought the rights for the song, and then it became very popular. Just four stanza, and it became very popular. Many movies, theater, play, club people started playing it. And around 1970s, this Warner Brothers, they bought the right. They took over the Sammy and Company. After that, they started suing all the companies or movies or clubs wherever they are playing. And each time you sing the song, you have to pay almost $700 to sing the song without their permission. And the company went on to make millions, around almost 14 million per year, just to get the royalty fees for this song called Happy Birthday to You. But then around 2010, there was one law professor who found out, according to the case, according to the Warner Brother, the right subsists around 2030 for this on this song. Okay, but this law professor found out that uh, due to the change in copyright law in US, the rights to this song has expired around 2010-12. So this case, it's an interesting case. It went up to long-standing case, and then finally the court decided by 2014 that this Happy Birthday to You song is out of the copyrighted period. Now it is open to public, everybody can play now. And if by mistake Warner Brother has kind of collected royalty fee from the company, so he has to repay back. But otherwise, without that case, you would have been paying, or you would have been liable to infringement for this song. So what I mean to say, even if it is such a small song, just four stanza, such a well-known poem, and what is look at the strength of the copyright. So even if you're creating something for your company, some logo or some brochure or some material which you may you don't know how popular it's going to be, so it is always be careful to whatever you are creating, protect your copyright if you think it is worthy or valuable to you and to your client. Okay, now computer software, if you have the program manuals, punching card, magnetic tape, computer printouts, computer program, these are all copyrighted product. All these can be copyrighted. Sometimes computer program per se cannot be patented, but they can be protected under copyrights. Uh, but somebody can change the code and express in a different language. That's a different thing, because the way you express, that becomes the copyright of that person. But these are all copyrighted product. Now next question comes whether a DNA RNA protein sequence can be copyrighted. So what do you think? Your DNA sequence can be copyrighted material because you are expressing in certain way, certain composition. So what do you think? Is it a copyrightable material, your DNA molecule? What's your background? I didn't ask. Are you a
Yes,
bio
ma'am.
student? Are you all bio student or computer student, or what is your background, all of you? If I get a understanding of it, so that
Computer.
It's a mixed student because some are in the IT and some are in the bio incubation related.
okay, fine. So whoever maybe bio background would like to answer this question, whether your DNA molecule is a copyrightable subject matter or not.
Yes, ma'am. It is copyable.
Okay. Okay, so maybe you think because it has certain sequence and it has certain way it is combined, expressed in certain compositions, ATGC, then you are thinking that it's a copyrightable. This interesting case in Indian law, Indian court, High Court, Emergent Genetics India and Sailendra Sivam. In that case, what happens is Emergent Genetics, there was a merger between Emergent Genetics and HLL, and they had some seed, genetically modified seed, and they had certain gene mutations, and their what they say that their product is a copyrightable genetic sequence, and this dependent, they are copying their same sequence and expressing it in a different way. But whereas the court says that in case of copyright, suppose you tell the story to your friend, and if you tell the same story to 10 different friends, the 10 different friends might write in a 10 different ways. The way they express, they would different in express in the 10 different way. But whereas if you tell one particular way, you express the sequence, you have limited way you can express. Maybe one, maybe two. You can just think about codon optimization. You can one or two way. When there is a limited way you can express a sequence, then there is no copyright in that kind of product. So then the court denied that in that cannot be any copyright on DNA because you have very limited way you can express your DNA sequence. Whereas in case of computer program, maybe the way you write the program, the set of instruction is varies. You can still have a copyright on the computer program, but not on DNA. So this is very important case law in Indian copyright. Okay, so this we covered. Now you can you can, when you have a copyright, you create some kind of financial significance. You can write you online, you can apply for a copyright and send your say CDs or your books to directly to the copyright office to get a copyright. Now this is very important to get a license terminology. So when you read a copyrighted material, if you are using a software from the open source or you are using a content from internet, you just see these are the different kind of license terminology will be there, whether you are allowed to copy or modify, distribute, redistribute, or different kind of credit, what sort of attribution you should give, and what kind of guarantee, and what are the rights reserved, like whether you have any common copyright notice, there is no usage right exist, you can just read it there, but you cannot use the content. It is very important to go through this copyright notice, understand it, then use if at all you want to use it. There's something called as Creative Commons, means some creator or companies, they create some sort of computer programs or some sort of material which they make it open source, and they call it as a Creative Commons, means you are allowed to use, distribute, but you cannot modify. Or you might have attribution non-commercial, you can use it, give the attribution, but you cannot use it commercially. And maybe non-commercial share like means it has some sort of license, but you cannot say create an IP right on that. You cannot create, you cannot claim it as your, you cannot just modify a little bit of it and then say it is my copyright. And the third one is, last one is attribution non-commercial, means redistribution is allowed for non-commercial purpose, but without any modification. You cannot modify. If you want to use it, you use as it is. So these are very important terms, and read it when you are going to use any content from the net. Okay. Now coming to patent and trademarks, trade secrets. So your invention can be protected in two ways. One is you just write to patent office and say this is your idea, and then you apply for a patent. Then they examine the patent application, you get a patent. Other way to have your right is you don't tell anybody, keep it as a secret, just manufacture and make a product and start selling in the market. Don't disclose anything anywhere. Keep it a secret. You don't have to pay the fees to attorney. You don't have to pay the fees to renewal fee to the patent office. You don't have to disclose your idea to anybody in the world. You can keep it secret. There's a two-way to protect. So now if I ask you a question, what is the best way to protect? Whether to protect through patent system or protect through trade secret? I would like to hear from you.
Trade secret.
Trade secret. Okay. Any other answer?
Patent system.
Maybe you can say why you think trade secret, why you think patent system.
And because if you go with the patent system, you'll have to disclose your idea to the government, and one of the, let's say, your competitors could somehow get the information from the government. If you look at Elon Musk, he hasn't patented any of his inventions. It's all a trade secret. So he doesn't even want the government to. He doesn't trust the government, so that's why he goes with trade secrets than patent system.
Any other answer? So everybody wants to keep a trade secret. What if somebody copies your idea? What if it leaks? If you have maybe 5 developer in your company and they understand how you are doing, tomorrow they switch your company, they go to some other company, uh, they file for the patent for the same idea. What will happen?
We could have NDAs and non-competes to prevent that from happening right now.
Okay, you might have NDA, but unknowingly he might say that okay, I am not aware that these are trade secret. You might have signed the NDA with the trade secret. Okay, these are the list of my trade secret of my company. 5, maybe sixth one. By the time you have the idea of sixth one, you have not included in your trade secret agreement. And after knowing about the sixth one, he quit your company. He joined some other company. It could happen, right?
Yes, ma'am, it could happen. It depends on the invention you're talking about. So some inventions is best ways patent system, and some invention is trade secrets. Like I think KFC and the Pepsi formula, it's still a trade secret, not a patent.
And suppose you have trade secret, who are the investor who will come and invest in your company if they don't understand what are the IP rights you have?
Tesla is a $1 trillion company, and they have invested.
So Tesla is one of it. Tesla invested. Elon Musk invested after making PayPal. Whatever money he had, he invested in that. He did not go for the investor.
No, ma'am.
That
Yeah, external investors are there for Tesla.
huh. He majorly he invested in his company to start with. So then you have to develop something as PayPal, get $1 million, then you start your second company.
That's what I
But
told. Patent system and trade secrets, they have different situations where you can.
yeah, so typically it is always the patent system who is better because having a trade secret you have to have a lot of compliance within the company with your people. It's not easy. Okay, but whereas in the patent system, though it is public, still you are not worried about somebody is copying your idea. And having a trade secret, you have to have that many agreements, and you have to keep renewing that agreements, and you have to have any new people in your company, then you can use that. Because one mistake, even if your idea is so valuable, but knowingly unknowingly if it is out, then it is totally gone. You have no right after that, because once the secret is lost, it's completely lost. It could be possible that the new company might modify your idea, file for a patent, and stop working on your idea itself, isn't it? So depending on the technology, you can choose to have either trade secret or patent system, but typically it is the IP that you create that companies looked at you. So even if you're a small company like WhatsApp, so it was uh, only few 20 employees, very few things, but still the IP that they have created, WhatsApp, Facebook, they bought it and in 20 billion, right? So it depends on the kind of company you have, kind of technology you have. There is nothing that trade secret is always better or patent system is not better, but if you have to be visible in the ecosystem in terms of as a good company, because you remember that somebody can do reverse engineer and find out how you are doing. It is not necessarily you can keep the certain things. Okay, Coca-Cola, maybe you can keep the trade secret, but if you have a product, if you have a electronics product, definitely somebody else can reverse engineer, come exactly find out how you are doing it, and they can also apply for the patent on that, right? So it depends on what you want. The thing is, uh, like patents, one drawback is that when you file for a patent, your right is only for 20 years. But trade secret is like, as long as you keep it secret, it is you can monetize that idea without disclosing anybody. And in case of patents, it is not only to the government that you are going to disclose, you have to disclose to everybody, because patent documents are published by patent office and it's accessible to anybody across the world. It is not only government, you are going to disclose it to everybody, and government is guaranteeing you that right in terms of this exchange of this disclosing your idea completely. Okay, and trade secret is prefer some scenario where you know that patent protection is not available. Like say for example, software programming per se is not allowed as a patent claim. For that time, maybe you can say, okay, I would like to go for a trade secret. And term is patent is too short, and then patent protection is a longer process. Maybe you take 3 to 4 years to get a patent. Maybe it would be difficult. Sometimes even you know somebody is copying your idea, but sometimes it is difficult to enforce that, to prove that he is copying, infringing your idea. Okay, so that's the reason. And when you talk about trade secret, what are the trade secret? What do you think? What are the trade secret? It is not only the product. It could be anything related to your company, which is giving you a business or a competitive edge. It could be your customer list, client list, vendor list, your processes, maybe little tweak in your manufacturing process. Anything can be your trade secret. The thing is, like, it has a perpetual thing. Now the problem is identifying your trade secret. Now as a inventor, as an entrepreneur, you might think that it is a simple thing. How you found out, okay, if I make my product in this way, I might save 30 days more than my competitor. If I source my material from, say, Bangalore instead of Bangalore, if I get it from Bangalore, I get a cheaper product. The manufacturing cost is less. I can give a better deal to my customer. That may be a simple thing, but maybe that is one of the reason that you can afford a good product to your customer. So that is your trade secret. You don't want your competitor to know that secret, who is coming to market 5 years after you. So these could be small thing. For you, it is important to identify. Maybe somebody in your sales team or in your manufacturing team knows that where you are sourcing your product and should maintain this as a secret. Okay, so this is how so many things can be your trade secret, and you have to maintain the trade secret list, and you have to regularly audit the trade secret. Suppose you have 5 ideas, but you have budget to file for 1 or 2 patents this year. What would you do? You file 2 patents this year, and then 3 you keep it in your trade secret list. But the next year, suppose you wanted to bring that one of that idea to patent application, then you have to audit your trade secret list. You cannot just sign with one employee at beginning of the employment and then say these are all my trade secrets, because your number of trade secrets may be increasing or decreasing depending on your company processes. So you have to audit it, and the fresh trade secret agreement to be signed with your people. And your employees should be aware that these are all your trade secret list. And if there is a misappropriation happen, you should take action so that tomorrow they should not knowingly, unknowingly, they should disclose your trade secret to their future company. Okay, now coming to patents. So we have 15 minutes time. So patents, as we discussed, this is one of the strongest form of the IP protection. Ceftriaxone is a patent. Anybody wants to listen to the story of ceftriaxone, I will tell. Otherwise, we'll proceed.
Tell us now.
Okay, so it was around 1840s. There was a inventor called Walter Hunt, who was very innovative mechanic, and one day he was in his workshop playing with a 8-inch wire, and he came with the shape of ceftriaxone. Not exactly like this, but it was similar to this. And he had to return some $40 to his friend. Then that time he applied this idea for a patent, and he got a patent. Then finally he thought, maybe I'll sell this patent to any company, and maybe whatever I owe to my friend, I can return back that money. And for $400, he sold this patent to this Grace and Company. And Grace and Company, there was no safety pin before that. Anything you want to stitch, you have to literally stitch. So there was no safety pin available before that. And this company went on to make billions with this simple safety pin patent. Even we use till now. The safety pin is being used till now. So even if this is a simple idea, but if it is useful, valuable idea for your client, that's the only thing matters. It doesn't matter whether it is how many patents you have, uh, how much you spend to develop the idea, but how valuable, how useful that idea to your customer. That is what the only thing that matters. So even if the idea is simple, if it is valuable, it's what is important. It doesn't matter that you invest billions to develop and research, but ultimately the output, the value that you create is not good enough for your customer. So before you file for a patent or create an IP, always you should ask, is there anybody who is going to pay for this idea? This is the most important thing. And patents are exclusive right. The terms, it only protects the claims. Patents are, it's not a positive right. What we say, you stop others from creating, producing, using, selling, or importing invention. But it not necessarily guarantee that you can manufacture this product, whatever you are patented. And why do we say that? Because that might be that might be some say for example, that might be some you suppose you have a chair patent, and you said it has a wheel and you can sit and move around without any friction, and it's a cool comfortable chair. But to manufacture that chair, maybe the material that you are going to use, which is not good for health, you might not get a uh, permission from the government to use this manufacture this chair, or maybe the material you are using, it is not it's toxic for the environment. You may not get a permission from the pollution control board to manufacture the chair, or maybe your chair might have some will which is been patented by some other company. So you need to have a license, a permission from the previous patent owner to manufacture your chair. So that is what we say, it is not a positive right. Okay, so why we say, why do you patent? Because it's a recognition for the inventor, incentive to develop a commercial product, license to an existing company, and set up a new company. Now, when you have a patented product, patent something, and you know that your another company is making a complementary product and they have certain IP, then you can talk to the other company. You can have a uh, combined license, so that you can cross license your patents to use and come up with a better product or solution. You don't have to patent everything. So this is a very common thing nowadays, which one startup company, they create some IP and they kind of cross license their idea to the complementary product or company. So protect against imitator. If somebody is going to imitate your product or processes, so that's the only way to protect is to file for a patent. So this we can skip. This we discussed. It's not a positive right. And so these are the some earlier patents started from 1474. Then US patent, first patent was granted in 1790. Then Indian first patent granted in 1856. And there are certain requirements for patents in Indian patent law. It has to have a patentable subject matter. It has to have some use, utility. It should be new. The day you file a patent, nothing in the world should be known about this idea. So this is very, very important. It's called novelty. Novelty of an idea should be there, and it should be non-obvious. Somebody
Yeah.
working,
I have a
some
small thought now.
yes, yes.
Let's say if there's already an idea which is patented, and I'm bringing a new idea, but it's like 10% similar to the previous idea. Will I be given a patent, or what's the thing?
So now, if the 10% is the crux of that invention, if you take the 10% is the one important step, then it is not non-obvious. Means it's the important part you are just important part you are retaining and changing little bit, which is some extra not necessary. So then that will be issue of non-obviousness. So that is it is nothing like yes or no. It is case to case. Maybe the 10% what you are changing is adding, giving the cost reduction to say 60-70%, then definitely that 10% also adds value as a new patent. So depends on what is that technology, what you are changing, and what is that how you came up with this idea. So that all depends on that. Okay, so there are certain section 3 and section 4 of Indian Patent Act says these are the list of ideas that are not patentable. If your idea falls under any of this, then that cannot be patented. And all these patent laws are territorial. These are Indian patent law. So, but mostly 80 to 90% are kind of similar in most of the country, but still it is always jurisdiction specific, country specific. Like for example, if it is anything against natural law, say you came up with a machine and it is going to give some output without giving any input. It is perpetual, it's going to give an output. Which is against the natural law. Even if how detailed you explain your idea to the patent office, you are not going to get a patent on that. And if it is your idea is against the public order, morality, prejudice to any life or to the animal or human or environment, so that will not be granted any patent. And against abstract theory or like Newton's law, all these are law, abstract theory, scientific principles are not patented. A new form of known property. Suppose you have a chemical composition, you just identify a new property. That is not, you can say I have identified, you have uh, new use or new form. Like you have a formulation for cancer, you said, okay, I can treat also epilepsy in that formulation. So that is not patented. Arranging, rearranging a device is not patentable. Mathematical algorithms, computer programs are not patentable. Computer programs are not patentable, but suppose you have an embedded program in your washing machine, so that is patentable. But if you say computer program per se are not patentable. It is across, like whether you take US, UK, India, it's all same everywhere. Okay, and copyrightable works, if something can be copyrighted, they are not patentable. Method of playing game, integrated circuits, traditional knowledge, these are all not patentable. If your idea falls under any of this list, so those are excluded from patent grant. And in India, it has to be either a product or process to be a patentable subject matter. Okay, so this we have discussed. Now, yes, we discussed about your idea has to be novel. So this is another story. In 1960, there's a Danish inventor. There's a ship which was drowned in Kuwait harbor, and that ship was carrying 5,000 sheep. And that harbor was connected to the Kuwait drinking water system, so it was very important. They had to pull this ship in the least amount of time. Otherwise, the insurance company had to pay millions for this mishap. And then this inventor, Danish inventor called Carl Croyer, he came up with an idea of putting 27 million plastic balls and to pull this drowning ship. The idea was so good, it saved millions of dollars to the insurance company, and he applied for the patent in UK, Germany, and Holland. So he got a patent in UK and Germany, but he denied this patent in Holland. And the Holland Patent Office cited, as the story goes, they cited that in 1947, there's a Donald Duck magazine where the Donald Duck has used the same method to pull a drowning yacht. So it was in 1960, and remember we are in 2022 where the examiner has all the access to all the material across the world. So if you are planning to file for a patent, it is always very, very important not to disclose anything about your idea to public. Not even a Twitter, you cannot say, okay, I just wrote just one word or one sentence. If that one sentence is important part of your idea, then it amounts to public disclosure. So this you have to be very careful. If you are planning to file for a patent, you have to maintain complete confidentiality before you file for a patent. Even if you are disclosing the when the startup companies, the another case is like whether to file for a patent or not. Right now, because when you go to pitch your ideas to the investor, no investor is going to sign one NDA with you, because every day they meet 10 different uh, startup companies with a similar idea, and they will not sign any NDA. And it could be possible that they might disclose your idea to the second person, knowingly or unknowingly. Okay, you have this idea. Okay, maybe you can, maybe some other group are trying to do this. Why can't you add Google tagging, geo tagging to this? Maybe you might have a better product. So unknowingly, they might disclose your idea to some other thing. So many of the time, the startup companies come to us that we have a presentation, we have a grant application. We would like to file before this date, because they don't want to disclose their idea to a public group without signing an NDA. And wherever there is no possibility of signing an NDA, they would prefer to file a patent before disclosing the idea to uh, the discussion. Okay, so this is a prior example, and if you want to know where to do a search to understand your idea is patentable or not, these are all some free patent databases, PEAT databases, where you can file for a uh, apply and do a patent search of your idea, whether it is worthy of patent grant or not. Then if you see the patent document, you get a lot of important information about technological relevance. You get where the companies are spending, because you saw that people file for a patent before disclosing it to public. Now all the patent documents are published after filing. So if you read the patent document, definitely you get to know about all important invention and current way of invention, further invention, how it is happening. Say for example, if you think about blockchain or about any kind of AI based, if you read the kind of patents are filed by the companies, you get to know who are the main companies who are invested in this kind of technology, and who are the main inventor in that application. You can find out who are the main inventor who is working on the same particular kind of domain. You get all this information from the patent application. Legal relevance, suppose you or your company is going to work on some particular aspect of say AI part of say healthcare, and you know that somebody else has already filed or got a patent grant related to that, then it is better to either get a licensing term agreement with them, or if you think that your idea is similar to that and you have a priority date of that idea, you can oppose that grant. So there are a lot of important relevant to go through a patent document. So these are all what are the components of the patent, just want to show. So in the first front page of patent application, you see who are the assignee, who are the inventor, what is the abstract title of the patent application, when it is filed, because all patent applications are valid only for 20 years from the date of filing. So if it is filed on 29th August 2022, so 29th August 2022, this patent application will be uh, will be out of the patent grant term. So then you describe your patent application in detailed way. So basically, when you write for your say white paper for your company or write in a journal article, you say that these are the first group they have done this way, second group they have done, and we are doing the similar way. But whereas in case of patent application, you say that first group have tried, they have not succeeded, second group have tried, but our group is trying to solve this problem with these are the details of the way we are addressing this problem. So you have to clearly differentiate your product or from your competitor. That is how you get a patent grant based on the technological advancement you show to the patent examiner. And towards the end of patent document, there are list of claims. Claims are the important part in a patent document where it defines the scope of your invention. What are your boundaries of your rights? Okay, so if you want to file any international application, there's a different way that you file. That's called Patent Cooperation Treaty. You file international patents, and maybe we'll not go into details of inventorship. This is the last slide. Or would you want, you have time? Do you want to know about the inventorship, or we can just skip it? Just to summarize, suppose there are two of your friends came together with the idea and you want to file for a patent. Say for example, one of the inventor contributed to 90% of the claim. Suppose you have 10 claim, one of the inventor, he said that his idea came to 90% of the claim. Another inventor, he has only 1%, maybe 10%, like one claim. So they become the joint inventor. But as per the patent law, they both have equal undivided right. The person with 90% idea cannot say I have more rights on the patent application, you have less rights. To the patent office, they both have equal right, they both are inventor. You can have a separate agreement among you to share that, okay, I have, if there is any commercial activity happens, I will get 90% share because my idea belongs to 90% of this claim. But to the patent office, if you don't have any separate agreement between you, you both have equal undivided right. So this is important. And once you have a product, you have a patent for the product and processes, and then you have a design with a utility design for that. Then you have trademark. We have not discussed about trademark or industrial design. Then you apply the name or logo for trademark. So this is how you create a IP portfolio in a company. From the same product, you can file for a patent, you can have a design, industrial design, you can have a trademark. So different kinds of IP can be created from same idea. So when you have an idea, you do research, then you come up with a research agreement, then you file for a patent, then you create copyrights or trademarks, then you bring the product out to market. So this is how your value chain of your idea goes, from idea to research to technology to products. And different stages, you sign different kinds of trade secret, non-disclosure agreement, then research agreement, then you apply for a patent, then different kind of IP rights, copyrights, and design right you get. Okay, so these are few case studies. So now just to summarize, if you are planning to file for a patent, you should avoid following like discussing your invention in a seminar, workshop, lectures, discussing your invention without signing an NDA, website, submitting to journals, offering for sale or selling, test marketing. So these are all you should avoid if you are planning to file for a patent. Okay, with that we stop it. And if you have any question, maybe we can take a couple of questions now.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Like if I copy an idea or a process and I tried to sell it and keep it as a trade secret, will I able to sell, or like will any legal action be taken on me?
So if you say that you copy your idea and sell it, means you are going to sell either a product or process, right?
Yeah.
If you're the original owner of the idea, if the person who is holding a patent on that idea, if they find out that you are copying their idea, if they can prove, the onus of proof lies on the person who is going to like complain that you are going to copy. If he can prove that, definitely there will be legal action for copying.
Okay. And what if it was KFC? Like they are also having trade secret, and like I copied their idea. I get their idea from somewhere else, and I also tried selling their idea, and I also keep it as a trade secret.
Okay, it's an interesting question. So his question is now KFC has trade secret. He learned that how KFC is going to make. You make that KFC kind of burger or all those food product, and then you also keep a trade secret. And so it is basically KFC cannot do anything because you have not published that idea, and KFC will not be. Another important thing, if you have a trade secret, you cannot do any infringement lawsuit. Even if somebody is copying, you know that. Only when you have a patent right, you can go after them, any of your competitor, and file for a infringement suit. If you have kept your idea as a trade secret, you have no right to uh, uh, file for an infringement suit, because nobody knows what is your idea. It is secret to you, right?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a small question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's take KFC. It basically, it prepares chicken. So, and let's take five-star chicken. It's the same. Maybe the difference is just the masala, if I'm not wrong. So, if I add a separate masala again, and I can patent the masala, and can I do that?
Yes, you can do that. Definitely, you can do that. Because, as you said, just the masala, because it's just the masala only makes all the difference in a food product. And if you think your masala is different and good enough, it's a different, definitely you can file for a patent, the composition of all the mixes.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll do that.
Okay, so if there is
Anybody
no other
having any?
question,
One more doubt.
yeah.
I'm like, there are 3 patents, like A, B, C, and all are patented. And I use all the 3 ideas to make a different idea. Like there are process in laptop processors are patented. Everything is patented. And like I make a laptop. Can I able to patent the next idea using all those 3?
Yeah, so interesting question. See, right now, if you see the pattern landscape, it is not that always you come up with the original idea all the time. Definitely, you come up with the ideas which is already there or already patented. You develop on those ideas. Now, what you develop, that's matter. Suppose you combine the 3 ideas, just you mix all the 3 together and put it the final idea, then there is no novel inventive step in that. But maybe by combining, you are coming out with a better product, something like synergistic effect in a chemical composition was we say, or maybe you can, by combining these two in a certain way, uh, it gives you a lot of cost benefit to the customer, or you reduce the processing time, which none of the 3 could achieve individually. So then definitely that idea would be patent worthy. But it depends on case to case, what are those idea, whether the combining is uncommon. If it is, say, you take an idea from agriculture field, you take an idea from healthcare, or you take an idea from space research, maybe some material people have used and that you are going to use it, maybe some healthcare, some kind of a nano delivery system. It is totally uncommon idea, but you have combined in such a way that it is going to give you a better result. Definitely those ideas are patentable.
Okay, ma'am.
Anyone having any questions? Okay. Thank you, Lipika ma'am. It's a wonderful session of regarding the patent, copyrights, and trade secret and all. Uh, Further, we will students want to further teaching.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the interaction. Okay then. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.